right, a happy Friday the 13th to you. Alongside Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. Welcome to Lone Star Park. We are fast and firm. After a week where they thought it was going to rain off and on every day all week, it really wasn't too bad. Excuse me. A little bit of rain overnight and a little bit here and there, but it's turned up hot, but overall not too bad. And one thing about heat compared to like when we first opened in April, surfaces dry out pretty fast.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Especially the turf. So 8 races tonight. Hope people aren't superstitious. I just threw that first reference out there. Let's hope that we can get some luck with our picks tonight and
Do you have any superstitions?
Not really, no.
Oh, all right. Just want to make sure.
I like to when I was broadcasting baseball, I like to test the whole jinx theory and say, this guy hasn't given up a home run in like 2 years.
And then bam,
every
home
once
run,
in a
right?
while, yeah.
Somebody can do that in football a lot. They jinx the kickers.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But, I'm a superstitious guy at the racetrack. I'm one of those people that doesn't have $50 bills. I don't want $50 bills
I've
at the
heard about
racetrack.
that. Nobody
Get
likes
them away.
$50 bills.
I didn't put much stock into it until the year that Maximum Security was in the Kentucky Derby. And I went to the ATM on the way in, and all it had was $50 bills. And I was alive in a pick 4 to the Kentucky Derby winner, non-winner, Maximum Security paying like $8,000 or something, and I was like, "Oh, this $50 bill thing is just a talk." And then, I get the first disqualification in Kentucky Derby history and win 0. So I'm back on the non-50 bandwagon out here. Friday the 13th doesn't bother me much, but the $50 bills at the casino racetrack, keep them away from me. Give me hundreds.
Yeah, I learned way back they don't ship brooms on the backstretch and they don't carry $50 bills.
Right.
All right. I do like to park in the same spot, though, but that's more a habit than a superstition. On we go. Race 1. Let's take a look. We're going to analyze the races off for our picks. Race 1, we're down to a 5-horse field. This is a non-winners of 2 claimer worth $5,000 claiming tag. No super here. 5/8 of a mile. Scratch the 4, Too Intimidating, and the 6, Double Ride, who would have been a giant favorite, and now Lone Tree, the 5, is going to be the giant favorite because he was going to be a solid second choice. The rest of them, it would be a surprise.
Right. Well, now Lone Tree is the lone top choice, right? So let me get this horse on top here in this field. I mean, scratch down to what? 5 horses now. Where are you going to go? Lone Tree is a logical place. This horse was in a $5,000 race last time out. Ran a decent second in that one. Was bumped at the start. Still got up there for second. A third before that at $7,500. And you can see this horse broke its maiden at $7,500 at Will Rogers back on the 17th of March. Did that by 8.5 there. So a pretty nice victory for that maiden breaking win. Since then, it's hit the board a couple times. Seems to be the best in this race at $5,000 tonight. Give me Lone Tree on top. Number 3, My Addiction. It's going to be my second choice. This horse has hit the board in 3 out of the last 4 races. A third last time out. Second before that, just missing by a length. Both of those came at the $5,000 claiming level, but both those were in New Mexico, so we're going to see how this horse does here at Lone Star tonight. And then who am I taking for third? Let me get number 1, Appeal Guy. Coming from the inside, the horse does have 3 races over our surface, does have a win of those races, but that was back in the fall of 23 in that claiming stakes that we have out here, Battle of the Breeds with the thoroughbreds and the quarter horses. So since this guy does have some experience on our racetrack, I'll take Appeal Guy as my third choice.
Yeah, I remember looking at this race thinking, I remember that race last fall, those trials. Don't really remember Appeal Guy. Then I realized it was in 2023. But yeah, it's pretty clear cut here. We'll see if it turns out that way. This level can sometimes result in unpredictable results. My Addiction is interesting because we're getting an influx. I don't know if it's because Ruidoso isn't running thoroughbreds this year or what, but we're getting an influx of live New Mexico horses from different barns, more than we used to. So My Addiction ran well at Sunray. And so we'll see how he fares here. There's a horse in Sunday, fresh off a winning streak at Sunray. That's some new racing blood here. And I almost picked the horse on top at 12-1 on the turf, but I went more conventional.
Talked yourself out of it,
yeah,
huh?
I did. But there is some nice, interesting new runners from New Mexico coming in for different barns this summer. Second race, mile on turf. These are Texas breds. First level allowance, 3 years of age and up, no scratches or changes out of race 2.
Well, we'll see if the video department's on point tonight with the music. Number 1, Don't Back Down, my top choice here. This horse was a winner last time out, broke that maiden, led it from gate to wire right here. It was on our dirt course going 6 furlongs that day. Well, I say dirt, it was a muddy track that day, so a little bit thick. But the horse did pick it up from gate to wire, got the win out here. We've seen this horse out at Lone Star Park 3 different times. The very first time this horse was out here was a solid second. Went into a stakes race after that, finished 5th of 9 in that one. But, the horse was running at Kentucky Downs, Keeneland, Churchill Downs, all 3 of those on the turf. The one at Kentucky Downs was pretty decent. It was a second-place finish, so not bad at all there. I want to say at Keeneland and Churchill, this horse was probably overmatched, but coming down here to Texas could be right where this horse needs to be to win back-to-back races. Number 2, Adger is going to be my second choice. Comes in here off a very solid second last time out, just missed by a head in that race. So it was right up there toward the front. Look, this horse did pick up a win down at Sam Houston back in March. Now, the horse has been on the turf 4 different times so far in his career, has failed to hit the board in any of those 4 races. But, some of those races were pretty tough up at Remington Park. The horse was in for a $30,000 tag up there. But we'll see what happens. After having that nice run last time out, we'll see if this horse isn't ready to go again today. And then horse number 8, Mr. Moscato, that's going to be my third choice here. This horse comes in here from a lot of allowance races, so has been running against this typical competition. Has been on the turf 11 of his 15 races, does have a win a couple seconds in 3/3 as well, has a win at this 1 mile distance as well. So, put together all those things, the horse does have some, I say at least one race of success going this distance on the turf, right? And Mr. Moscato could very well do the same thing. I mean, Ramon Vasquez is the named rider. He's a leader of the colony. Austin Gustafson, his horses can always win. There's no doubt about it. So I'll take this horse in my top 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, he shows a win at this mile distance last summer against Maidens in Indiana. Followed that up with a pretty good claiming victory, claiming second, I should say, on the grass. He's just kind of a perennial non-winner of 2. He's 1 for 15 now, but, to me, and as with you, he's a third selection. I think the top 2 are pretty clear cut. Don't Back Down was really confidently ridden last time. First time on Lasix, so now he's second time Lasix, which is sometimes a nice benefit as well. He's also third-time blinkers. He was added blinkers 2 starts ago, which was back in Churchill in the fall. So, yeah, Don't Back Down on paper should win. Hopefully that it'll get off to a formful start tonight. Race 3. This is the Staunch Avenger division of the Texas Stallion Stakes. This race would normally run on the Lone Star Showcase Day, but it didn't. It's running now. And we are down to just win, place, exacta, and pick 3 wagering. No show, no try, no super on race 3. Scratch both the 1 and the 2. These are 2-year-olds. And there's going to be a heavy favorite in this one, too, in Lexi's comeback. But rightfully so. I mean, this horse ran a really nice second last time.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've got the horse on top. This horse at least has 1 race of experience. The rest of them don't. In that 1 race of experience, like you said, was a solid second in that one, just missed by 3/4 of a length. I thought the horse looked really good that day doing it. Of course, went 4.5. Just going a little bit further today, but I'm giving the nod to Lexi's comeback. I got the 5 as my second choice. Preacher Man, I looked at the stats on the trainer on this one's Harold Caldwell. He wins at a pretty decent clip for 2-year-olds. And then I've got number 3, Candy Cactus as my third choice. And then, there's only 1 horse left. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to the 4 as well. Speak the Truth, 6-5-3-4 here in the Staunch Avenger division of the Texas Stallion Stakes.
Yeah, a couple breeding notes, starting with Speak the Truth. By Mr. Speaker, who we mentioned the other day was a really good Shug McGahee trainee of a few years ago that loved to go long on the turf. So we're not sure how his 2-year-olds on the dirt here sprinting are going to fare. Golden Glass, the dam of Speak the Truth, was 0 for 5. This is her first foal. Candy Cactus by Eagle, pretty nice stallion that's thrown some winners here from an unraced mare named Trifolium, who was by Candy Ride. Candy Cactus has only one grandfather. Candy Ride is the sire of Eagle, the stallion, and the sire of Trifolium.
All right.
So if there were a grandfather's day, he'd only have to get one card. Preacher Man, Florida Bred, another by Mr. Speaker. The dam was just 3 for 49. So Lexi's comeback had a nice race, dueled inside of Sip and Go. That was our very first 2-year-old race of the year. Just kind of chased Sip and Go through the lane, but did hold off Real Good Game, who came back and won the next race via a DQ. On we go to race 4. Texas Breds, 3 and up. These are maidens. They're in for the bottom tag of $5,000. Scratch the 5-6 iron, who is a solid morning line favorite. And this race is at 5 1/2 furlongs.
Yeah, looks like we took the same horse, number 4, Other Brother Daryl. Seems like we just saw this horse run out here like a couple weeks ago, May the 24th.
It was Memorial Day weekend, but it does seem more recent.
Right, but maybe I'm just kind of forgetting about this. I mean, the horse did get beat by 20 lengths in that race in a 7 of 7 finish. About halfway through the race, just kind of packed it in.
He did, but he's taken a big drop today.
And that's why I've got this horse on top, taking that drop all the way down here to that $5,000 claiming price. Even 2 starts back, I mean, this horse had a solid 5 1/2 furlong run, finishing 3rd in that race in Maiden Special Weight Company. So at least had one decent race out of all those Maiden Special Weight races. And then, like I said, now is down here for a nickel. We'll see what happens with Other Brother Daryl, but I think this horse should be able to get the job done. Taking one that's a little bit of a shot as my second choice. That's number 3, Too Much Long Legs here. Now, this horse had a good workout back on the 31st of May, so I'm hanging a lot on that workout back then. I mean, what was that, 2 weeks ago? What's today, the 13th? You said Friday the 13th, right? So, just at the end of last month, fired at 4 furlongs, so not bad at all there. The horse took a long break between 24 to 25. I mean, a little over a year before getting back on the racetrack in a race. That comeback race, the horse got out there pretty quick, running for the $10,000 tag, was up there toward the front, just a link back at the first couple calls, but after that, I mean, just started moving backwards, it seemed like. But hopefully the second race after a layoff will do this horse well. You know, I love that angle. 15 to 1 on the morning line for Too Much Long Legs. And out of the rest of this field, I think it may not be a stretch to have one of these high-priced horses come in the top 3. And then I got number 1, Second Battalion, as my third choice. This horse goes back on the Lasix tonight. Last time out was in a $15,000 race at Will Rogers. Didn't do hot there. Didn't do hot at Sam Houston either. But, you got to look way back. 2023, this horse had some decent races at Ruidoso and Albuquerque. Was up there toward the front. Looked like was hanging in there for a while. But as I get closer to the finish line, the horse just doesn't seem to stay in there very much. But I'm not too impressed with the rest of this field either. I didn't even take Redbird Fly, who you've got picked second. But I got a 4-3-1 here in the 4th.
Yeah, Rick Lee scratches into Redbird Fly in the program on page 6. The thing about Redbird Fly that I'm not crazy about is he dropped to what was a few weeks ago the bottom level. Now we've added that $5,000. We've kind of added a basement level to the bottom level. But he dropped out of maiden specials down to that $7,500 bottom level, was bet down to 3 to 1, and still didn't run much. I'm not the most forgiving handicapper, so that's what scared me a little bit off of him. Other Brother Daryl, I mean, he's making a huge drop. As you mentioned, 2 races ago was pretty good. Rest of his body of work is pretty well beaten. Too Much Long Legs. He is second-time blinkers, second time off the layoff, and he is dropping out of an open $10,000 maiden claimer to a Texas-bred $5,000. That's a pretty significant drop. He was 5th of 5 in that race, but he could definitely improve. So, we'll see what happens. We're also seeing the first race in almost 2 years for John Lewis's Bevo. puts me in mind of he should run in burnt orange silks. With the
The Hall, if he was Hall Family Trust, remember they used to have the Longhorn silks all the
exactly,
time.
And they had the burnt orange silks.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, a lot of those John Lewis. Well, John L. Pierce had orange silks too, or has, and he had a lot of the John Lewis's horses. Race 5. In the 5th, we do have quite a number of scratches, but first the conditions. 5/8 on the turf. $10,000 claimers, scratch the 2, Special Memory, the 5, Northvale Road, and take out 12, 13, and 14. The 11, Campton, gets in.
All right, so I am going to be on number 3, Baseball Politics here. Now, Baseball Politics, this horse trained by J.R. Caldwell. I looked him up, 20% winner in turf sprints, so not bad at all there. Wins 1 out of 5 horses that he sends out in turf sprints. Baseball Politics, this is going to be the first time with J.R. Caldwell. I think he does pretty good with horses that are just coming to his barn for the first time. But Baseball Politics, last time out was a solid second-place finisher. Horse was in a starter optional claiming race that day right here at Lone Star Park. Race before that was a win. Did that by a length and a quarter at Oaklawn for the $10,000 tag. I mean, we're running for $10,000 again today. Like I said, Caldwell has a pretty nice record in turf sprints. Go ahead and give me 3, Baseball Politics on top. Number 7 is going to be my second choice. Horse was a winner 2 starts back, not bad at all. That was at Los Al back on the 15th of March, so it was fairly recent. Had a couple seconds before that as well out there in California. Most recent race at Turf Paradise, I mean, the horse was beaten by almost 10 lengths, finished 9 of 9, but had a bad break in that race. So, I mean, I think if the horse gets back to that California form, it wouldn't be out of the question to see this 7 get up and hit the board. And owned and trained by Robertino Diodoro, we know that he can win some races out here. There's no doubt about it. And then number 3, I'm a Bling Cat's going to be my third choice. Last 3 races, this horse was in starter races. Ran fairly decent in those, a couple thirds and a fourth after being up there most of the way around the racetrack. This horse has 4 of 5 on the board finishes so far this calendar year. Has 15 wins out of those 44 starts lifetime as well. I'm a Bling Cat, definitely one to watch here. I got it 3-7-9, and what I thought, even with the scratches, was probably one of the most difficult races for me to pick a winner in all night.
Yeah, this is a good race. 5/8 on turf. I'm a Bling Cat, has a good turf sprint record, 2 wins and 4 tries, but my PPs go back to December of 23, and I don't see any turf sprints.
Been a while.
He's an old timer. He's run 43 times, but he's been strictly a dirt sprinter lately. And then you've got Helatic, who likewise likes to turf sprint, but he's been going a lot in these 1,000-yard quarter-horse thoroughbred mixed races out at Los Al. When you see those 1,000-yard races, do they show up in your program? Yeah. Those are always quarter horses and thoroughbreds. It's open to both breeds. What's weird is in the Daily Racing Form lifetime record, those races aren't reflected. But they are reflected in the record by dry fast track, wet track, turf, etc. I don't know why. But Helatic,
we ran into that with some jockey stats earlier this year, I think. There was a guy who had ridden some quarter horses, but they didn't show up in the Equibase database there. But
the mixed races and the quarter horse races don't show up with thoroughbreds.
I'm sure they got a reason for doing it, I guess.
I'm sure they do. But Helatic, very, very fast. I mean, a 45-3 bullet half-mile work on June 1st. A whole string of good races against quarter horses. He also has some good turf sprints in his past. I'm going to take him on top over Baseball Politics, who very well might run well here. His turf sprint record is pretty bare. He's only sprinted twice, had 1 second. But yeah, there's a number of them that could win this race. On to race 6. Race 6, scratch number 3, Cash Follows Me. 3-year-olds and up. This race exclusively drew older runners, though. Non-winners of 3 lifetime. 6 furlongs. The price is $7,500. This is a wide-open test. I mean, drinks at the club. He was everybody's choice last time. He was a nice winner. He gets claimed by Cappellucci. who wins half the time first off the claim, but for some reason I didn't take him. So we'll hear my reason here in a minute.
And that's why I took him. I liked that Dick Capalucci, 50% first off the claim, and not even a small sample size. 44
times. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty good sample size. This horse won last time out when he was with Abel Ramirez Rodriguez, was claimed last time. That last race was here on our track, went 6.5 on the main. Going 6 tonight. I'm hoping this horse is ready to go. I mean, it was just back on the 30th of May, so a couple of weeks ago. I'm hoping the horse is still ready to go. Had that little Dick Capalucci special effect on him for that first time in his barn. Give me the 5, Stormman, as my second choice. This horse was a winner 2 starts back that came up at Will Rogers Downs. The horse was in for $25,000 that day. Was in $25,000 before that at Sam Houston, ran second in that one. Most recent race, this horse was in for the $20,000 tag right here at Lone Star Park and ran third. So at a higher claiming price, the horse has finished on the board in the last 3 races. Drops down in here for $7,500. Should be an easier spot for Stormman here. And then I've got the big boss, El Mero as my third choice. This horse was in for $7,500 last time. Ran second, just missed by 3/4 of a length. If you look 3 starts back, pretty much the same result. Second place finish at $7,500. And then this horse picked up a win, the $7,500 level, back in January at Sam Houston. So it's comfortable running for $7,500 tag. Seems to perform well. I'll take this 9 horse in my top 3. I wish I could move him up a little bit, but I might roll the dice and play a few horses to win in this 6th race. Who knows? But I got it 1, 5, and 9.
Well, I did move him up because I took El Mero on top, mainly off the gameness he showed in his last race. That was a really good try. I mean, he ran second, 3 parts of a length behind the winner, but it was a really game performance. It was his first time wearing blinkers. He seemed to respond to that. He had been a little bit of a money burner at the non-winners of 3 level prior to that, but I just think that he showed that maybe his form he was rounding into better form last time, and in sort of a coin flip, kind of taking the Asmussen connections, hoping to get that 7-2 price, because Drinks at the Club and Stormman off that big drop, and with good speed, he'll get bet heavily. So will Drinks at the Club off that really nice race last time. Buyer-wise, both those edge my top pick, but at this level, they can be a little unpredictable. A lot to like about both, the 1 and the 5. I'm going to try El Mero on top. Rick Lee likes the 7 Louisiana Flash, and I think he might be one to really watch. I think Rick may have liked his last work, and Rick said in the program he might not have liked the off-track at Evangeline last time, so Louisiana Flash is his long shot pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like Louisiana Flash as well. I mean, 2 starts back, this horse was a winner at twice the claiming price. I mean, Austin Gubson, David Cabrera team up for this one. That could be a nice runner right there at some good odds.
Yeah. Race 7. All older drew into this one. 5.5 on the dirt, $5,000 claimers. Scratch the 2 Louis Bear. Scratch the 3 Love to Win. And scratch the horse I had originally on top, the 10 Summer Splash. So scratch 2, 3, and 10.
Yeah, so I guess we both end up on the 1 now, right? Spite and Malice.
That's a good one to scratch.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about that. I've mentioned J.R. Caldwell's name a few times. I mean, he picked up a couple stakes wins last Sunday,
sure
right? So he had a big week last week, but I think he's going to have a good night tonight. Spite and Malice, I mean, this horse was a second-place finisher last time out. A win before that came in an open $5,000 claiming race, pretty much like this one, right? So Spite and Malice, give me this horse. I think this horse can have a good sprint. I got the 7 Super Brady as my second choice. I see you do as well. The last 3 races, a 4th and a couple thirds before that. The 4th place finish came right here at Lone Star Park on the turf course. So going back to the dirt, where this horse ran 3rd the race before that right here on our dirt. So Super Brady could be one to watch. And then I got number 5, Suitable, as my third choice here. This horse has been running at this $5,000 level. Picked up a win at this level back at Sam Houston in February. Has tried this distance 5 different times. Doesn't have a win or a second. Does have 1/3. But this horse does have a win right here at Lone Star Park, so I do like that. I got it 175 here in race 7.
Yeah, I mean, just on paper, that's pretty much the way it goes in this spot. Rick has it 157. We have it 175. Either way, Spite and Malice, a really tough old hard knocker at this level. I mean, even a year ago, he was at a much higher claiming level, but he's still making a decent living down there in the $5,000 ranks. Loves the short sprints, likes this racetrack a lot, capable of winning, multiple races. He should have this field over a barrel. It's just a matter of, how he feels tonight, basically. No carryovers heading into today. That super high 5 got hit. It was quite a hit the other day, too.
Was it $11,000, $12,000,
yeah.
something like that? Nice way to get out.
We start anew on the high 5. Race 8. Wrap up the card on the turf, a mile and 1/16, $17,500 top claiming price here. Texas Breds can be claimed for $5,000 more. Scratch the 5, Brock on by. Scratch the 7, Kaleo. And that will leave a field of 8.
Yeah, I'm going to take the inside runner once again. That's number 1, Temple. This horse was a graded stakes winner back in 22. Hadn't been in a graded stakes or hadn't won a graded stakes since. But, this horse has moved down quite a bit. Yeah. Two starts back, this horse was in a starter obstacle claiming race, got claimed out of that one for $10,000, but was the winner of that, won by a length and 3/4, followed that back up into another race right here at Lone Star Park, finished third in that one, just missing by a neck to another horse that's in here, Brother Reed, my second choice, your top choice. But what I like, Abel Ramirez, I got into looking at trainer stats today. Abel Ramirez, 27% winner in route races.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty solid stat right there, but I think Temple can get the job done here in the nightcap. Number 3, Brother Reed, I'll let you go in a little more about that horse, but this horse was a winner last time out, has a couple wins at this distance, has run well here at Lone Star Park. And then I got number 10, Coastal Brink, coming from the far outside. Last time out, this horse was in a starter race, got blown out in that one, lost by 22 3/4. But the races before that, you see a win, a second, a win. This horse had some good races down at Sam Houston on their turf down there. The horse has won a couple times at this distance, 3 times on the turf, 4 seconds, so 7 out of 10. This horse is finishing the exacta on the grass. I like those stats. Of course, I like the Asmussen angle as well with the jockey and the trainer. I think Coastal Brink from the outside could be one to watch here in the final race of the night.
Yeah, he's a half to Bobby Brinkley, who's won a few races and been around in a bunch of other races for a long time around here. I think it's pretty easy to toss Coastal Brink's last race. He was on the slop. Now, earlier this year at Houston, he did win on the slop, so he might not have been his night.
Yeah, it's a different slop down in Houston,
and that's true.
Right?
The racetracks can be a lot different. They're both sealed and sloppy, but the composition of the track when they're sloppy can make a lot of difference. I'm going with Brother Reed mainly because he loves this turf course. He always finishes hard. Temple has really done nothing wrong. If you do go back to 22 and 23, he was nothing but a graded stakes horse. He was in all of them. He ran in the Turf Cup at Kentucky Downs, a grade 2 race, and he was well beaten in that one, but all the other graded races he was in that period, he competed in for the most part. He ran third in the Grade 1 United Nations. I remember when that was one of the biggest turf races in the country decades ago. Very good. He might not be what he used to be, but still, he's the one to beat. But Brother Reed has a similar style, loves this course, gets along with Diego very well, and I just think I'm going to get a little bit better price than I would on Temple, even though Rick has him very close in the line. You and Rick both have Temple. He might come and get him today. That comeback race he had on May 9th was pretty good. It was a good close finish. So, we'll see. But I generally always pick Brother Reed because he's so game on this turf. I didn't pick him the day that he won. I think I might have had him third or fourth. But we'll see how that's a good race, though. That's a good way to wrap up the card. All right, that's it. Fast and Firm once again. Rodney will be down here for the previews again. today and tomorrow as Dave Appleton's out of town, but stay out of the heat as best you can, and we'll hope for the best tonight.
Yeah, let's
we have a
pick
lot of
some
similar
winners.
picks.
Yeah, we do.
So we'll hope that they run like we think they will.
That's always my hope.
And whoever you choose tonight, good luck to your picks. And first post time coming up in 36 minutes.
In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of